Hey guys, anihausdrew here. I have my Aether Eclipse moto jacket that actually I'm trying to wear in right now, and because it fits a little tight, I'll be honest with you guys. So what I'm going to try to do this morning is that I'm going to go ahead and spritz it with a bunch of water before riding to work. So I went ahead and put my jacket on a chair, and then I'm going to spray it with this water bottle to simulate rain. And then I'm just going to wear it, and hopefully it will stretch the leather a little bit. Okay, this jacket now looks like it's been out in the rain. So this morning I'm taking the Aprilia Tuono. This is pretty much the Tuono in its natural habitat. For anybody who rides motorcycles hoping to save gas, the Tuono is definitely not the one to save gas. I think the miles per gallon is pretty much akin to an SUV. At best this thing maybe does 30 miles to the gallon, but riding in the city you pretty much get 21. It's a large tank, as you can see, 3.4 gallons to fill it up. But one thing you can't deny is that she's certainly beautiful. So this thing is freaking all out power. They say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the Tuono definitely fits that description. This thing's about 998 cc's, produces about 160 horsepower, 10 less horsepower than the actual RSV4 that this bike is actually based off of. It's basically an RSV4 with the fairing stripped down and made slightly more street legal. I got this bike after going on my honeymoon in Italy with my wife, and we had visited a bunch of Ducati factories, and I immediately, as soon as I got back to LA, we went to the Pro Italia shop, which sells mostly Ducatis, but they also sell Aprilia. And after talking for a while with the owner, he actually convinced me to get an Aprilia instead of a Ducati. And let me tell you, I do not regret that decision. This thing is phenomenal. Just the Aprilia APRC package alone, the electronics package on this thing, is fantastic. It has a, I believe, a three-way sensor for the traction control, meaning it's not just front and back traction control. It can detect how far you're leaning over too, to determine the amount of traction control you need. It's basically incorporating World Superbike and MotoGP technology. Well, slightly older MotoGP technology in a street bike. Another nice thing about this bike is that you can change the riding modes. It has 3 riding modes. It has Sport, Rain, and Track. You can change it while you're riding, as long as you close the throttle. You don't, unlike a Ducati, you don't have to wait, I believe, what, 5 or 10 seconds to do so. You can just do it on the fly. And the sound in this thing is freaking amazing. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but it sounds like a freaking Chevy 4-banger. Because it is a 4-banger. This thing is a 4-cylinder engine, which is why, fuel economy wise, it is crap. It is a fuel hog. So anyways, I'm wearing a wet Aether Eclipse jacket right now. Oh, the things I do for fashion. What am I talking about? I don't do much for fashion. She's got Brembo front brakes, and the Brembo front brakes are phenomenal. There's wheelie control. You can select how much you want the bike to be down in front. It's really good about controlling the amount of power you deliver so that you don't end up wheeling if you don't want to. And you can also, it has 3 settings, so if you do want to wheelie but you want to make sure you don't get yourself in too much trouble, you can control that with 3 settings. It also has 3 ABS modes, so if you're one of those weird people who don't like ABS, which is, I find weird, you can turn it off practically. Right now I have this bike pretty much everything turned up. I mean, I have like the traction control turned way up. I have the wheelie control turned way up, and I obviously have the ABS control turned way up too. And I'm currently in sport mode. Sport mode pretty much knocks it down to about 130, 140 horsepower, knocks the engine down, and then road mode knocks it down to about 100 horsepower. Similar to a Ducati. But this thing is pretty much raw power. I mean, it's just like, it's power with no end. Slightly the opposite of the Honda Grande that you normally ride. So Tuono in Italian means thunder. And from the sound of this engine, you know why they call it that. And that's the stock pipe. I didn't change it out to the Akrapovic pipe yet. In terms of stability, this thing feels like you're riding on rails. I mean, it's basically the RS-V4. It handles like an RS-V4. The traction control is very reliable. It's a very good bike for learning to ride faster. So, in case you're wondering, this is what a morning commute doing LA freeways is like when you're not riding the streets. It's like this every day of the week. Currently, I'm taking the 101 North and hoping to switch over to the 405 South. So one thing I discovered is that despite the fact that it's actually legal to lane split here in California, and among motorcyclists it is encouraged for safety reasons, obviously, it is not legal to cross the double yellow. So even though I'm really tempted to right now, I cannot go on the double yellow line to lane split until there's an opening to get into the carpool lane. Just waiting for an opening. I would go in the carpool lane, but judging by the traffic, doesn't look like it'll buy me anything actually. I'm wearing a black leather jacket on a pretty warm day. It's gonna get up to 85 degrees today in LA, and the sun is completely out. I'm definitely starting to sweat. I'm telling you, this is definitely gonna break the jacket in. I'm gonna slip into the carpool lane. As you can tell, it was obviously faster going in the carpool lane than me lane splitting in the other lanes. I'm gonna switch over to Gen Pop. So this is it. The Aprilia Tuono.